Zane had never expected to live on a distant planet. Earth had felt safe, ordinary, and familiar. But now, he stood on the observation deck of the orbital station above Lithera 7, staring at the vast purple skies and floating cities below. He felt a mixture of excitement and fear. Humanity had only recently begun sharing its citizens with other worlds as part of the Galactic Exchange Program. And Zane had been chosen, completely by accident, to live with an alien roommate. His alien roommate's name was Therix. Tall, lean, and shimmering with faint silver scales, Therix had eyes that glowed faintly in dim light and hands with 3 long, dexterous fingers. He was polite but distant, his tone formal as he greeted Zane for the first time. "Welcome, human," Therix said. His voice sounded like wind passing over metal. "I will observe your behavior carefully. We are curious about human skills and habits." Zane blinked. Thanks. I hope we get along." Therix only tilted his head and studied him. Zane could almost feel the alien calculating every detail. Zane realized quickly that Therix had a reputation on Lithera 7. He was known as a perfectionist, someone who considered himself far superior to most other species, especially humans. The living quarters were simple but efficient. Zane's side had a small bunk, a workbench, and a collection of basic tools. Therix's side was pristine, almost sterile, with instruments Zane had never seen before. At first there was an uncomfortable silence. Humans and Litherans rarely interacted one-on-one, and Zane felt every bit like a stranger in a strange world. But Zane was nothing if not curious. He had always loved building things. Even back on Earth he had taken apart old machines and rebuilt them, sometimes better than before. And now, with tools he had never dreamed of using, and a skeptical alien roommate watching every move, he felt a spark of excitement. The first day was awkward. Zane tried to speak Litheran, stumbling over strange sounds while Therix made occasional corrections. Despite the differences, Zane noticed something. Therix was fascinated by small human habits. When Zane stretched, Therix tilted his head. When Zane brewed a simple cup of coffee, Therix examined the process as if it were a laboratory experiment. By the evening, Zane had an idea. He cleared the workbench and began pulling out parts from a small storage box, mechanical arms, servos, and various human gadgets. He started assembling them into something that could move on its own, a small robotic helper. Therix watched silently, his glowing eyes focused. "Explain the purpose of this device," he demanded. Zane grinned. "It's a helper robot. It can carry tools, clean the area, and assist me while I work. Humans are good at making machines do hard tasks." Therix raised a hand. "It seems primitive, but intriguing. Continue." Zane worked through the night, twisting wires, connecting circuits, and programming simple commands. By dawn, a small metallic robot rolled off the table, its lights blinking. It waved a mechanical arm at Therix, who gasped, a faint sound that sounded almost like awe. "You created this?" Therix asked, his voice quieter than usual. "With your hands alone?" Zane nodded. "Yep, took me a few hours. It's not perfect, but it works." Therix stared at the robot for a long moment, then back at Zane. "Humans are remarkable," he said finally. "I underestimated your capabilities. I did not expect such skill from a single individual." Zane felt a strange mix of pride and relief. Finally, Therix was impressed. Not just polite, actually impressed. It was a rare feeling, being recognized by someone who usually considered humans inferior. Over the next few days, Zane continued to build. He crafted small tools, automated systems, and even a simple drone to monitor the apartment's surroundings. Each creation brought a subtle shift in Therix's behavior. He would ask questions, make suggestions, or simply watch quietly. Fascinated, Zane began to notice that his alien roommate was not just curious. He was learning. One afternoon, Therix approached Zane with a challenge. "If humans are so skilled, prove it. Build something that can interact with Litheran systems without prior programming." Zane's eyes lit up. "You mean hack into your tech?" "Not hack," Therix corrected. "Integrate, adapt. Show me human ingenuity." Zane accepted the challenge. He examined a Litheran device, a small floating panel with glowing nodes and touch-sensitive surfaces. It was designed to be operated only by Litherans, using their unique neural interface. But Zane had a plan. Using his robot and some quick coding, he connected human interfaces to the panel, bypassing the neural system. Slowly, Carefully, he programmed the robot to mimic the necessary signals. When he activated it, the device responded. Lights blinked, symbols shifted, and a small drone emerged from the panel. A system Therix had said no human could control. Therix's glowing eyes widened. I did not expect this. You made it work. Human? Your species is astonishing. Zane chuckled, rubbing his hands together. Told you humans are good with tools. We find a way to make things work. Therix studied him for a long time. Then, for the first time, he smiled. Just a small curve of his lips, but genuine. Perhaps this will be a valuable experience. Living with you may teach me more than I imagined. From that day, their relationship began to change. Therix was still formal, still calculating, but Zane sensed curiosity turning into respect. And Zane realized something too. He was learning as well. Humans had much to teach Litherans, but Litherans had knowledge that humans had never dreamed of. Living together could be dangerous, even challenging, but it could also be extraordinary. That night, Zane lay on his bunk, looking out at the floating cities of Lithera 7. The stars shimmered above, and he felt a surge of excitement. He was far from home, living with an alien roommate who had once thought humans weak and inferior. Yet now, through patience, skill, and creativity, he had proven that humans were not to be underestimated. And this was only the beginning. Outside the window, a small shadow moved across the cityscape. Zane did not know what the future held. Other alien roommates, unexpected missions, or even interstellar challenges. But he knew one thing. Humans were built to adapt, to create, and to overcome. And no matter how strange or intimidating the galaxy seemed, he was ready. Tomorrow, he decided, he would build something even bigger, something that would truly show Therix and perhaps the entire planet what humans were capable of, and he couldn't wait. The morning sun on Lithera 7 cast long, violet shadows across the floating city. Zane woke early, his mind already buzzing with ideas. His small robotic helper rolled beside his bunk, its mechanical arms clanking softly as it moved. Today, he decided he would attempt something bigger, a creation that would not just impress Therix, but push the limits of human ingenuity in an alien world. Therix entered the room silently, his glowing eyes observing Zane as usual. "You seem unusually determined this morning," he said. "What are your plans today, human?" Zane grinned. "I'm going to build a transport drone, big enough to carry supplies across the city. Humans have done bigger machines, but I think I can adapt it for Lithera's environment." Therix's eyes flickered, a challenge worthy of your species. But be warned, Lithera 7's air currents are unpredictable. Many Litherans fail to maintain stability in flight outside the controlled corridors. Zane rolled up his sleeves, ignoring the caution. He liked a challenge. He pulled parts from storage, lightweight metals, gyroscopic stabilizers, propulsors adapted from Earth drones, and a set of control circuits. The workbench quickly became a maze of wires, panels, and glowing tools. Hours passed. Zane carefully adjusted the propulsors, tested the stabilizers, and coded the control algorithms. Therix observed silently, occasionally making a precise adjustment here or a suggestion there. The alien's input was brief but invaluable. Zane realized that Therix's knowledge of Lithera's environment complemented human creativity perfectly. By late afternoon, the drone was ready. It hovered for the first time in the center of the room, its small rotors spinning smoothly. Zane could hardly contain his excitement. He stepped back and gestured toward Therix. "Ready to see what it can do?" Therix studied the drone, his glowing eyes narrowing. "Proceed." Zane activated the navigation program. The drone zipped across the room, turned sharply, and even carried a small stack of tools in its compartment. Therix's mouth, if it could be called that, curved slightly upward. "Impressive," he admitted. "It appears humans can create stability in situations where we fail." Encouraged, Zane suggested an even bolder test. "Let's see if it can handle outside flight. The city's corridors are tricky, but I think I can manage it." Therix hesitated. "It is highly risky. Lithera's winds can throw even Litheran drones into chaos." Zane smiled. "That's the point. Humans don't avoid risks. We adapt." The two of them carried the drone to the observation deck. From there, Zane could see the vast city below. Hovering towers, floating walkways, and shimmering light networks connecting every building. The wind was unpredictable, but Zane had calculated the flight patterns using both Earth physics and Therix's Litheran data. He released the drone. It soared into the open sky, adjusting its propulsors with precision. At first, the wind caught it, pushing it sideways, but Zane's programming compensated instantly. The drone zigzagged between towers, dipped below walkways, and even ascended above the tallest spires. Therix's eyes widened. You have accounted for turbulence, magnetic interference, and variable air density. Humans are astonishing, he said. Zane laughed. The sun rose over Lithra 7, casting its violet glow across the floating city. Zane was already awake, tinkering with his tools at the workbench. Therix stood nearby, silently observing, his glowing eyes reflecting the morning light. Today will be unusual, Therix said. His tone carried both excitement and caution. The Galactic Engineering Council has announced a competition. Teams from multiple species will demonstrate their technological skills. Winners gain recognition and access to rare resources. Your human skills may be tested. Zane's eyes lit up. A competition? Sounds like exactly what we need. Count me in. Therix's brow furrowed. You underestimate the challenge. Participants include species known for centuries of advanced engineering. Many humans have failed to keep up. You must prepare carefully. Zane leaned back, grinning. That's why I like humans. They thrive on challenges. We don't give up. We adapt. Preparation began immediately. Zane and Therix worked side by side in their small apartment-turned-lab. Zane's fingers flew over circuits, adjusting gyroscopes, stabilizers, and energy cores. Therix contributed with his knowledge of Lithuran materials, wind currents, and energy conduits. Slowly, their project began to take shape. A human Lithuran hybrid machine designed to move efficiently, adapt quickly, and perform multiple tasks in challenging environments. By the third day, it was ready. The machine resembled a large exodrone, 6 sturdy legs, retractable arms, and a central command module. It could climb structures, carry heavy loads, and even respond to unexpected environmental changes. Zane's ingenuity combined with Therix's alien precision created something truly remarkable. When they tested it in the floating city, it performed flawlessly. It climbed towers, avoided obstacles, and carried cargo effortlessly. Therix's glowing eyes widened. Human, your design exceeds my expectations. It is ingenious, Zane shrugged. We're just getting started. Wait until the competition begins. The day of the competition arrived, and the venue was spectacular. The Galactic Engineering Council had prepared a massive arena floating high above the city. Competitors from multiple species had gathered. Sleek insectoid engineers from Xylar 9, crystalline robots controlled by the Argonites, and even hybrid teams from distant worlds. Zane and Therix felt a mixture of excitement and tension as they entered. Observe carefully, Therix said. These competitors have centuries of experience. But humans, you have creativity and adaptability. That may give us an edge. Zane smiled. Creativity beats experience when used wisely. The first challenge was announced. A structure had collapsed mid-construction, and each team had to retrieve materials, stabilize the framework, and safely transport simulated workers to safety. The twist. Environmental conditions were unpredictable, with sudden gusts of wind, shifting gravity fields, and simulated electrical hazards. Zane immediately activated their exodrone. It sprang into action, its mechanical legs adjusting to each gust of wind, its arms gripping and stabilizing objects, and sensors scanning for hazards. Therix monitored from a control station, providing guidance but allowing Zane's human instincts to drive the drone. Other teams struggled. Xylar 9 engineers relied on rigid protocols, their machines faltering under unexpected wind shifts. Argonite robots moved with precision, but lacked flexibility, failing to adapt to collapsing platforms. But Zane's exodrone danced through the chaos, carrying cargo, rescuing simulated workers, and correcting mistakes instantly. Adaptation, creativity, speed, Therix muttered, clearly impressed. Humans, your species is extraordinary. When the first challenge ended, Zane and Therix had completed the task flawlessly. Judges whispered among themselves, clearly astonished. One Lithuran official approached, bowing slightly. Your approach, unusual yet highly effective. We have underestimated human ingenuity. The second challenge was even tougher. Teams had to design a transport system capable of moving delicate energy cores across the arena without causing overloads or structural collapse. Many teams hesitated, carefully plotting precise paths. Zane and Therix took a different approach. They built a self-adjusting rail system combined with their exodrone. The machine moved dynamically, sensing weak points in the rails, adjusting speed, and ensuring each energy core remained stable. Competing teams watched in amazement as human creativity triumphed over rigid logic and centuries of experience. By the end of the day, the final challenge was announced, a test of strategy, endurance, and problem-solving. Teams were given incomplete maps, hazardous terrain, and simulated emergencies. Zane grinned at Theryx. "This is what humans do best, think on our feet and adapt." Theryx nodded, a rare smile on his face. "Then let us proceed, human. Show the galaxy what your species can do." The challenge began. Zane's exodrone navigated the terrain, correcting for sudden collapses, redirecting cargo, and rescuing simulated victims. When obstacles appeared, Zane improvised solutions using spare parts and creative methods. Other teams faltered, trapped by rigid procedures or slow adaptation. But Zane thrived, each step showcasing human ingenuity. Finally, the challenge ended. The arena fell silent as judges reviewed the results. Zane and Theryx waited, their hearts pounding. A Lytheran announcer cleared his throat. "The winners of the Galactic Engineering Challenge are the human and Lytheran team from Lythera 7. The arena erupted in applause. Zane couldn't believe it. He glanced at Theryx, who gave a small nod, eyes glowing with genuine respect. "You have proven beyond doubt," Theryx said. "Humans are not only creative, but resilient, brave, and adaptable. I misjudged your species. I see now. Humans have something no other species possesses, the ability to overcome any obstacle with ingenuity and courage." Zane laughed, clapping his hands together. "Thanks, Theryx. But it's teamwork, too. You taught me things about this planet I couldn't have figured out alone." The two of them accepted their award, a set of rare materials, advanced tools, and recognition throughout the Galactic Council. Zane felt proud, not just for winning, but for proving that humans could shine in a galaxy full of advanced civilizations. That evening, back at their apartment, Zane reflected on the day. Lythera 7's skies glowed purple, stars twinkling in the distance. He realized that humans were not just survivors, they were creators, innovators, and heroes. And with allies like Theryx, there was no limit to what they could achieve. Theryx approached, his eyes soft. "You have changed my perspective completely, human. I once believed humans were weak, but now I understand. Your species will not only survive in this galaxy, it will thrive," Zane smiled. "That's the plan, and we're just getting started." Outside the window, the city lights shimmered like a network of stars. Zane felt at home, not just on Lythera 7, but in the universe itself, ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new adventures. New machines, new problems to solve. And Zane was ready to show the galaxy that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The floating city of Lythera 7 glowed beneath the twin moons, its tall spires shining like crystal towers above the endless ocean. For Zane, the human engineer far from Earth, it was still a strange sight. Every day he woke up surrounded by alien voices, alien machines, and alien customs. Yet somehow he was starting to feel at home. His roommate Theryx, a tall Lytheran with glowing blue eyes and graceful movements, had gone from skeptical to curious. At first, Theryx treated Zane like an intruder, but after watching the human fix a broken gravity regulator with nothing but a toolkit and sheer stubbornness, he started to respect him. Still, trust between them was fragile, and tonight that trust was about to be tested. The city had sent out a warning earlier in the day. A massive storm was approaching. Lythera 7 floated high above the ocean, held steady by huge stabilizers, but the storm winds were powerful enough to break smaller structures apart. Zane leaned over a console, studying the readings. "If those stabilizers fail, the whole city could tip," he muttered. Theryx stood behind him, arms crossed. "Our engineers are already prepared. We have weathered such storms before." Zane glanced back. "Yeah, but your stabilizers are already running hot. They weren't designed for winds at this scale. If they overheat, the system could collapse." Theryx frowned, clearly not wanting to admit a human might be right. "And what do you suggest, Zane of Earth?" Zane smiled faintly. "Let me help. I've got an idea." Hours later, the storm arrived. Black clouds swirled and thunder cracked like cannon fire. Waves taller than buildings slammed against the floating city, sending tremors through the walkways. The stabilizers groaned under the strain. Warning lights flickered across the control panels. "Overload in 2 sectors," shouted a Lithuran technician. "We cannot hold much longer." Zane ran into the control chamber, rainwater dripping from his jacket. "We can reroute the excess power into the cooling systems," he yelled over the storm. The technicians looked confused. "That is not possible," one said. Therix hesitated, then turned to the others. "Do it, trust the human." The room fell silent for a moment. A Lithuran rarely overrode protocol for an outsider, but the storm raged outside, and desperation forced them to act. Working quickly, Zane crawled under a console, sparks flashing near his hands. "We'll bypass the regulators here. Connect them to the coolant pumps." "Okay, Therix, pull that lever when I say." Therix stood by the main panel, nervous but determined. "Understood." Zane gritted H. The skies over Lithera 7 darkened as massive storm clouds gathered above the floating city. Winds howled through the towers and strange electrical surges crackled in the air. It was an unusual phenomenon, one that the Lithuran meteorological teams had never recorded. Panic spread through the city as the citizens realized the storm could damage entire districts, even tear floating platforms from their moorings. Zane was in his apartment, testing modifications to his exodrone when an urgent alert flashed on Therix's tablet. "Zane, emergency. The northern sector's energy grids are failing. Structures are destabilizing. Many citizens may be trapped," Therix said, his voice tense. "This is beyond ordinary storm damage. The city's automated systems are overwhelmed." Zane's eyes narrowed. "Then we can't wait for help. Let's get the drones ready." Together, they prepared the exodrone and several smaller human-designed drones. Zane added sensors to detect structural weaknesses, stabilizers to handle extreme wind, and communication modules to coordinate rescue operations. Therix supplied information on the city's layout, energy grid points, and dangerous zones. When they stepped onto the observation deck, the storm was terrifying. Gusts tore across platforms. Lightning struck floating towers, and people struggled to reach safe areas. Even Litherans, who were naturally adapted to their environment, faced danger. "Stay calm," Zane said to Therix. "We can handle this. We've prepared for tough situations before." Therix nodded. "Indeed, but this is unprecedented. Be careful." They launched the drones into the storm. Zane guided the exodrone through the strongest winds, dodging debris and unstable platforms. It moved like a mechanical falcon, carrying tools, structural stabilizers, and small safety pods for citizens. Smaller drones followed, assisting with communications and delivering supplies. Their first stop was a collapsed walkway where several citizens were stranded. Zane maneuvered the exodrone carefully, avoiding falling debris while deploying retractable arms to lift the people to safety. Therix watched in awe. "You are extraordinary human," he said, almost in disbelief. "Your species. I underestimated your bravery." Zane smiled, focused on the task. Humans don't back down when people need help. After rescuing the first group, they moved to the energy grid that powered the city's northern sector. Lightning strikes had overloaded the system, causing dangerous fluctuations that threatened to destabilize more towers. Zane examined the wiring and realized that he could reroute the energy flow using human-designed circuits and Lithuran components. "This is risky," Therix warned. "If you fail, the grid could collapse entirely." Zane took a deep breath. "I can do this. Humans are good under pressure." Using a combination of drones and his exodrone, Zane guided the replacement circuits into position. He manually adjusted the connections while the drones stabilized nearby structures. Sparks flew and the wind buffeted him, but he remained focused. Slowly, steadily, the energy began to flow correctly again. Lights blinked back on and the northern sector stabilized. Therix's glowing eyes widened. "Incredible. You have saved a large portion of the city single-handedly. Humans, your species is exceptional." But the storm was not finished. The central district now faced a rising surge of electrical energy mixed with wind turbulence. Towers began to sway dangerously, and floating walkways shook violently. Zane realized that to save the city, he would need to coordinate a massive operation, a full deployment of drones and real-time adjustments across multiple sectors. "Therix," Zane said, "we'll need to split our forces. I'll take the central district with the exodrone. You coordinate the smaller drones for other zones. We can stabilize multiple areas at once." Therix nodded, quickly analyzing the situation. "Agreed. Your approach, human, is surprisingly strategic." The storm raged as Zane and the exo-drone moved into the central district. Lightning struck nearby towers, gusts tore through walkways, and debris flew dangerously close. Zane's fingers flew over the control panel, adjusting stabilizers, deploying structural supports, and directing drones to reinforce weakened platforms. Citizens watched in amazement as the mechanical exo-drone lifted falling debris, rescued trapped people, and reconnected loose energy nodes. Even Lithuran engineers could hardly keep up with the speed and precision of Zane's human-designed technology. Hours passed, but Zane did not falter. Every challenge, falling platforms, electrical surges, collapsing bridges, was met with human ingenuity, creativity, and courage. Theryx coordinated the smaller drones with precision, but it was clear that Zane's adaptability and quick thinking were the key to saving the city. Finally, as night fell, the storm began to subside. The city was battered but stable. Citizens cheered, recognizing the incredible efforts of the human and his alien ally. Theryx approached Zane, his eyes glowing softly in the dim light. "You have done what I thought impossible. Humans are not only ingenious but courageous. You saved this city." Zane smiled, exhausted but proud. "We did it together, Theryx. Humans can't do everything alone, but with teamwork, creativity, and determination, there's nothing we can't handle." Word of Zane's heroism spread quickly throughout Lithera 7. The Galactic Council recognized his bravery, awarding him the highest civilian honor on the planet. But Zane didn't care about medals. What mattered was proving that humans could not only survive in an alien world, they could protect it, innovate in extreme conditions, and inspire respect across species. That night, Zane and Theryx returned to their apartment. The city below was quiet, repaired and stabilized. Zane looked at the stars above and felt a surge of confidence. Humans had faced many challenges on Earth, but this was proof that their ingenuity and courage could shine anywhere in the galaxy. Theryx placed a hand on Zane's shoulder. "You have changed my understanding of humans forever. Your species is remarkable. I once believed humans were limited. Now I see your potential is boundless." Zane laughed softly. "Thanks, Theryx. But remember, it's not just humans. It's humans and allies working together. We can do great things when we combine our strengths." The two of them sat quietly, watching the city lights shimmer against the fading storm clouds. Zane felt at home, not on Earth, not just on Lithera 7, but in the galaxy itself. Humans were not just participants in the universe. They were creators, problem solvers, and heroes. And tomorrow, the galaxy would see just how far human skill, ingenuity, and courage could reach. The morning on Lithera 7 was calm, almost peaceful, a stark contrast to the storm of the previous day. Citizens moved through the floating city, repairing minor damages and praising the human and his alien ally. Zane stood on the observation deck, gazing at the city below. Theryx stood beside him, his glowing eyes reflecting pride and respect. "Human," Theryx said quietly, "you have done more than save a city. You have shown every species here the potential of humans. We have underestimated your species for too long." Zane smiled, rubbing the back of his neck. "We're just people trying to solve problems, Theryx. That's what humans do. We adapt, we create, and we never give up." Theryx nodded, though his eyes held a new kind of understanding. "The Galactic Council has summoned you. They wish to recognize your efforts and discuss future collaborations. You are now ambassadors of human ingenuity." Zane raised an eyebrow. "Ambassadors, huh? I guess humans are good at more than building machines after all." The journey to the Galactic Council's chambers was surreal. Massive ships from countless species hovered in the spaceport, while ambassadors from across the galaxy exchanged greetings and ideas. Zane and Theryx were led into a grand chamber, its walls shimmering with energy and ancient technology. The council members, aliens of every shape, size, and color, looked at them expectantly. "Zane of Earth," a Lithuran counselor began, his voice deep and melodic. "You have performed feats that many civilizations believed impossible. Not only did you rescue your alien neighbors during the storm, but your designs and strategies demonstrated innovation, courage, and adaptability. Humans are a species unlike any we have encountered." Zane bowed respectfully. "Thank you. I only did what anyone would do to help others." A crystalline being from Argon 5 stepped forward. "Your technology is remarkable. It blends Earth creativity with Lithuran precision. We request that you teach your methods to our engineers. Zane felt a rush of pride. Humans had always been underestimated by the galaxy's more advanced civilizations. Yet here he was, standing before them, recognized as a leader, a teacher, and a hero. Therex placed a hand on Zane's shoulder. You see, human, your actions have changed perceptions. Your species is no longer underestimated. You have begun a legacy that will be remembered. The council deliberated for hours. Zane answered questions, explained his designs, and even shared strategies for problem-solving under extreme conditions. Every explanation emphasized human creativity, resilience, and teamwork. The council members listened intently, clearly impressed. Finally, the council's elder, a towering alien with translucent skin that shimmered like liquid light, spoke. Zane of Earth, your species has shown qualities that are rare in the galaxy: ingenuity, courage, and perseverance. We recognize humans as a vital partner in interstellar collaboration. Your legacy begins today. Zane felt a sense of awe. Legacy. It was a word he had never imagined applying to humans in a galactic context. Yet in this chamber, Phil,